You are listening to the Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Welcome back, everyone. If you feel like you're constantly chasing the next big thing in tech, well, you're in the right place.
Exactly. Think of this as your curated briefing on the DevOps stuff that actually matters right now. We sift through it so you don't have to.
Right, getting you those key insights.
Mm.
Okay, let's dive straight in. First up, a pretty massive change from Atlassian.
Ah, yes, the big cloud push.
Yeah, they're basically sunsetting their data center products. We're talking Jira, Confluence, Bamboo, sales stop in 2026. Licenses are gone by 2029.
It's a full court press towards Atlassian cloud. Although Bitbucket gets to keep a hybrid option, probably because, source code sensitivity is a big deal.
Makes sense. But what does this really mean for organizations using those tools?
Well, it forces a major decision, doesn't it? It's not just migration. You're looking at potential integration headaches, maybe higher costs down the line, despite what they might say about savings. And strategically, you're deciding how deep you want to embed with one vendor's cloud. It's a big architectural choice, really.
Okay, so a forced hand for many. Now, shifting from cloud platforms to data strategy. Cisco and Splunk are making waves.
Reworking Splunk Enterprise and Cloud, the focus seems to be shifting.
Yeah, towards this idea of federated analytics, bringing the insights to the data rather than dragging all the data to one central place.
Exactly. It's acknowledging data gravity. Centralizing everything is becoming, incredibly expensive and complex.
So the insight is process data where it lives for faster, cheaper observability and security.
Precisely. And they're pulling in tools like AppDynamics, Isovalent, Thousand Eyes, even connecting to things like Snowflake. It's about unifying observability, security, and AI for big distributed systems.
That distributed intelligence idea feels key. And it ties into infrastructure too, right? Like what DigitalOcean is doing with Kubernetes.
Oh yeah, the Kubernetes Gateway API. They're now pre-installing it in DOKS clusters.
And using Cilium with eBPF, which sounds technically cool, but what's the practical benefit over good old ingress?
It's a pretty big deal, actually. eBPF processes traffic right down in the Linux kernel.
Okay, so faster.
Much faster.
Yeah.
Lower latency, higher throughput, and crucially, less CPU usage. It just makes Kubernetes networking way more efficient, which is vital for demanding apps.
Better performance, lower overhead, nice. But efficient networking is one thing. What about scaling the whole cluster efficiently? I heard Karpenter mentioned with EKS.
Right, Karpenter. It's designed for smarter scaling in EKS. Instead of just adding nodes based on basic metrics, it provisions exactly the right type and size of compute resource right when your pods actually need it.
So it's more demand-driven and optimized, less waste.
Exactly. You use these declarative manifests like NodePool and EC2NodeClass to tell it what you need, and it figures out the how efficiently. Leads to better resource use, potentially big cost savings, and faster workload readiness.
Okay, that makes sense for new stuff. But what if you've got existing infrastructure, maybe undocumented, that you need to manage as code?
Ah, the classic problem. That's where something like Terraformer comes in. It's an open source tool from Google.
And it does what? Read your mind.
Almost. It looks at your existing cloud resources, AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, whatever, and reverse engineers them into Terraform HCL code. And it generates the state file, too.
Wow. Okay, I can see that being incredibly useful for migrations or just getting a handle on inherited environments.
Definitely. Great for audits, onboarding new folks, even disaster recovery planning. But there's a big caveat.
Always is, isn't there?
Well, yeah. The generated code is a starting point. You absolutely have to review it carefully, check dependencies, manage the state file properly, think about security. It turns config into more of a code review task, not a magic bullet.
Right.
Trust but verify,
Got it. Useful tool, but handle with care. All right, just a couple of quick things on the Kubernetes and open source front.
Blame on me.
Kubernetes v1.34 has an alpha feature letting init containers define environment variables using an empty dir. Sounds small, but could simplify setups by avoiding separate config maps or secrets sometimes.
Interesting little quality of life improvement.
And also, PG Edge, they've relicensed their Spock replication engine and extensions under the standard PostgreSQL license.
Oh, that is big for adoption. Making it more permissive usually helps build a bigger community around a tool. Good move.
Okay, so lots of focus on infrastructure efficiency. But what about the people using these tools? Developer experience matters too.
Hugely. And that brings us to the Rust compiler performance survey.
Right, I saw that. It seemed like a bit of a mixed picture.
Yeah, it is. On the one hand, quite a few developers actually find Rust builds faster than, say, C++ date. which is impressive.
But
Many are hitting pain points, long incremental rebuild times, slow type checking, builds dragging in CI pipelines, things that really impact that day-to-day developer flow.
familiar problems for compiled languages.
Yeah.
So what's the Rust team doing?
They're actively working on it, which is good to see. Things like switching to faster linkers by default, like mold or LLD, reducing the amount of debug info generated initially.
Practicals.
Right. And longer-term efforts, too, like better incremental linking and parallel front-end compilation. They're being transparent about the challenges and trying to balance Rust's power with developer productivity.
Good to hear. And speaking of UX, one last quick one. Grafana.
Ah, Grafana alerts. Always fun.
They've redesigned the filtering for the alert rules list, just making it easier and faster to find the specific alert rule you're looking for when you've got hundreds of them.
Yeah, sometimes it's the small UI tweaks that make a big difference day to day. Definitely welcome.
Phew. Okay, we've bounced around quite a bit today. Atlassian's cloud mandate, Cisco and Splunk's data fabric, Kubernetes improvements with eBPF and Karpenter, Terraformer, Rust performance.
It's a lot, but it shows where the momentum is, right? Smarter scaling, distributed intelligence, better developer workflows.
Absolutely. And hopefully, hearing about this gives you some ideas for your own work.
It's worth thinking, which one of these things could actually move the needle for your team, for your systems?
That's the real question. Which of these developments will you dig into first to level up your operations? All right, that's all the time we have for this run-through on the Vocal Technologist.
Thanks for tuning in. Keep exploring.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Spoken Tech for your ears.